two players fans should be excited about after these practices. If you don't mind, I'll go first.
Yeah, absolutely. Because we're gonna have two different perspectives, right?
Right.
Like yours is based off of everything you're seeing, and I'm going based off of everything I'm hearing. And so I'm interested to see where these things line up.
Okay, maybe I'm wrong. It's just practice, but really, I was impressed by Ray McLeod. I wasn't expecting to see a complete receiver. I'm not saying he's a starting receiver, but he's not a running back. He's not a gadget guy. He has really good hand-eye coordination. For a 5'9" receiver, like plays bigger. He catches balls over the middle, no fear, going over the middle. He catches balls outside of his frame. And he just freaking burned Ambry Thomas on a go route yesterday, which, I mean, I haven't seen Brandon Ayuk do, honestly. So like, he's explosive. He's a complete wide receiver. He's small, but that's okay. I think he's much better than I expected. And I don't know, he might be a better receiver than a punt returner. We'll see. Because as a punt returner, I mean, he's fumbled the ball a little bit. As a receiver, yeah. I think he can be explosive. So I'm curious to see what Kyle can do with him.
Well, it sounds like he's the antithesis of Pettis because also a punt kick returner who is supposed to be fearless.
He's like what the Niners wanted Richie James
Pettis. Oh, okay. That's fair.
What they wanted Richie James to be like. Okay. He's really good.
Yeah.
Good version of Richie James.
Yeah. He's Richie James, except for a lot better. Okay.
Aggressive, good, fast, explosive. Yeah, all that stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, a lot of people put stock in a 40 time, like, oh, is he? But he plays a hell of a lot faster than that.
Ambry Thomas runs a Ambry Thomas runs a 4.3. Ray runs a 4.5. Burned him yesterday on a straight go route.
There you
That's
go.
Pretty good.
Yeah, play speed is a very different thing. It certainly
and he has no issue catching a pass from Trey Lance. None. He played with Josh Allen. I didn't catch a bunch of passes in the regular season with him, but he practiced with him. No problem. Yeah, that's good. So, I mean, like, everyone's juiced on Juwan Jennings, and he's good. But Juwan is sort of picking on the Niners' nickelbacks, and they don't have a starting nickelback. Like, Ray's picking on everyone. So that's a good thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's funny that you mentioned Juwan Jennings because that's who I was going to say. But for two reasons, right? Because not just what we've heard about him in these sessions, which, by the way, Charvarius Ward said that he creates a lot of separation. Shanahan said the same thing, which is massive. But also during the offseason, so I'm parlaying what I heard in the offseason and taking that with what I've heard during these practices as well. Richard Sherman and Fred Warner were talking about Juwan Jennings. And the way that Fred Warner lit up and talked about him, not only saying he's really good and some of the cliche things, he said he's one of the best football players on this team, period. Not that he's good or he's up and coming. No. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, that's if Ross Dwelly's not on this list, Grant, you've completely flubbed it. I'm just letting you know. But yeah, Juwan Jennings.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's fine. Juwan Jennings, I mean, you're hearing nothing but good things, and it's consistent. It was consistent from Fred Warner up to where we're at right now and what we're hearing. The guy is a really, really good football player, knows how to get open, attacks the ball. Red zone threat. You said, what did he have? What did he catch? Like all the touchdowns from Trey Lance? Like, come on. The guy's really good, and especially as a number 3. Let's not forget, this is a guy that fans have been actively trying to replace all offseason.
Yep.
All offseason.
Yeah.
Juwan Jennings is here to stay.
And like, I think we both, because if I didn't say Ray, I was going to say Juwan. Those are the two. Yeah. And like, I think they're a really nice combination, like a platoon for a number 3 receiver, because Juwan's not explosive, but most of his catches are going to be first downs or touchdowns. In the red zone, that's your guy. On third down, that's your guy. So that's valuable. And then when you want a little bit more, when you want some speed, some juice, some explosion on first, second down, on your side of the field, in the middle of the field, that's Ray's for. And you're paying like nothing for those two. So I think they're actually probably both going to be more valuable than what the Niners are paying. They're going to be very good purchase, good buys.
Yeah.
Good investments.
Yeah. Absolutely. Do you have another one, or because I have another one that I can throw
Go ahead. I was going to say Juwan.
Okay, that's totally fair. Samuel Womack, right?
Mm.
I mean, we're talking about a late round draft pick, but athletically has a profile that I think a lot of us really came to the conclusion that this was going to be the future nickel corner. But he didn't really play a lot of nickel in college. That being said, it sounds like he's starting to mix in at nickel. And of the three options right now, he sounds like the best option, especially in man, right? I was just talking to Jack and he said, he does struggle a little bit in zone. It's different when you're playing nickel corner versus outside. But this team wants to play cover one man, I think, a big chunk of the season. And Womack fits that and can do that from that nickel spot. And so I think if you can get a guy late who's as physical as he is, has as long arms as he do, and as athletic as he is, I think that's good. And it sounds like he's been showing some flashes.
He has been showing some flashes. What I'll say is that they haven't put him with the starters yet. I haven't seen him go against the Niners starting wide receivers yet. I'd like to see a little bit more. But I do think that it's fair to say he's the best nickel on the team. Is he a good starting nickel right now? I don't know. Will he be a good starting nickel one day? Probably. Although I don't know.